Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Real Life Mama. My name is Mackenzie, and today I'm going to be sharing with you everything I bought for my family of 5 at Sam's Club and Aldi for this week. So I'm going to start with Sam's Club first. We bought these, it's 2 dozen cage-free eggs. We did go to the farmer's market this weekend, but I was too late. I literally got there at 9:30. And the guy we normally buy our eggs from was completely sold out. It's my bad. I should have just texted him and have him put some on the side for us, because he will do that since we did buy from him over the winter time. I just forgot to do that. I didn't think he'd run out so early. So we ended up just buying some of these eggs. This is 2 dozen eggs. I forget how much it was, but Sam's Club used to have like organic pasture raised eggs, but they didn't have that this week. So I don't know if that's something they stopped selling or if this was like what their substitute is. I'm not sure. But we did just buy that, and I'm just going to do that with scrambled eggs and just like random baking things for this week. We have another container of their blueberries. This is something we like to snack on. If we don't get to it right away, I will just freeze it, and then the boys will just eat frozen blueberries. They love eating frozen fruit. My husband wanted to do pork chops instead of the chuck roast that we normally get. So they did have already pre-cut pork chops for, I think it was like $10 for 6 of them. But I thought this was a much better deal. This was $20 for almost 9 pounds of pork loin. So basically all we have to do, I'll normally just cut it in half so it'll fit on the cutting board, and then you just slice your own pork chops, so you can do a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner, depending on what your family likes. But you will get a lot more pork chops for the price of what you're paying. Basically, if I would have bought the pre-cut at the store, I probably would have only gotten maybe like 2/3 of the pork chop or of the pork loin's worth. So it is a little bit of you have to cut it yourself, but this is a great way to save money in the long run, because we're going to get probably 20 pork chops out of this instead of like the 6. So we obviously won't be eating all of these this week, but this should last us for probably a solid month if we just do pork chops for one dinner a week. My husband was just kind of getting tired of the pork roast. I really like the roast. I could eat that all the time. But my boys really are good with eating pork, and especially pork chops. So hopefully this will help them just be excited about eating dinner and it not be such a constant battle to get them to eat their protein. We still have, I think we have like 2 pounds of ground beef in the fridge. Then we have another 6 pounds of their grass-fed, grass-finished organic ground beef in our freezer. So we just bought 1 of these packages for this week. We eat a lot of ground beef, so I do like to just have this on hand. But I'm probably just going to go ahead and throw this straight into our deep freezer, and so we'll just have some when we need it. I normally buy 2 every week. If you've watched my previous grocery hauls, you've seen that. But this week I just did 1 just because of the amount that we had. And I was buying a little bit more extra protein than what we normally get. So I wanted to help offset the cost with that. Which brings me to the next thing that we got. We got this sockeye salmon, which has the skin on. I was having a really hard time. So this is their wild caught salmon, but this was in a different spot. All the other salmon they had was farm raised. So it is much better for the salmon and for your body when you eat fresh caught or wild caught versus the farm raised. So that was why I was looking for this. It is a little bit more money, but even my husband was like, whoa, you can really see the difference in the coloring with the farm raised versus the wild caught. So this was what we went with, the wild caught salmon. It is almost 2.5 pounds, but basically we spent $30 on it. And so what I'm going to do with this is I'll probably just get my food scale out and cut each one into maybe 4 or 5 ounce servings. And then we'll just go ahead and put these in a freezer bag once it's been cut, and we can just pull out the salmon fillets as we need them. This is something that'll go bad if you just leave it in your fridge. We can't eat an entire fillet. My boys will maybe share 1 of the fillets. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't, but I normally, when we do salmon, we'll do some sort of vegetable on the side, and I will do rice cooked in bone broth. So either way, whatever they eat when we do salmon will be a healthy, nutritious diet. Sometimes too, I've been known just to cook up a pound of ground beef. They just like plain ground beef as is with some salt. So I'll do that too on the side sometimes if they're like, no, I don't want salmon. But my husband and I love this, and my husband and I both have been talking about, we just want to really start narrowing in our dieting and like get back to how we used to be eating. So a lot of the stuff you see here is like a single ingredient grocery haul. Not everything is, like, obviously the butter has a couple more ingredients, and we'll get to it. But this is something that we obviously want to include more in our diet. Just salmon is really good brain health, just trying to like stay on track, and also just getting diverse proteins in your diet. But make sure when you're buying it that you are looking for wild caught and not farm raised. We did, I think it was 2 grocery hauls ago, we bought like frozen prepackaged salmon that was wild caught. But I just think the price is better buying it fresh versus the frozen. There was only about, I want to say 5 fillets that were in that frozen bag, and we still have 2 left, but for a family of 5, if we all were eating one, and that I think was like $20, $21, $22, somewhere around there. So you get a lot more when you do it this way versus buying it the pre-frozen. So just something to think about too. Now, if you're just like a single person just eating for yourself, go ahead and just do like the other one. It's like a lot easier. You don't have to do as much prep work. But for a larger family, it is more affordable for us to do it this way. And I was happy to see that they had the wild caught and not just the farm raised, because I would not have bought it if it was farm raised. So over here, we've got the 4 pounds of their sweet cream butter. I think probably maybe have like 1 package left. I do notice that they changed their branding on this, but it was around $12 for all of that, which is a pretty decent price. Again, we bought 2 packages of their strawberries. This is 4 pounds total with strawberries. We just, we'll freeze it. I will do an electrolyte drink that uses strawberries. I don't remember if I already talked about the raspberries, but that was like $2 for the raspberries. So I went ahead and picked up a container of that. And if the boys don't eat it, we'll just go ahead and freeze it and use that for smoothies. We still have probably 1 bunch of bananas from last week that we need to use up. So while we're eating up those bananas, these will be kind of getting to the point where we can eat them. But I just bought 1 bunch for this week just because it seems like we are slowing down a little bit right now on our banana consumption, so we don't need to be buying the 2 bunches like I'm used to. The boys are going to, the older 2 are going to summer camp this week. So, and the pool that we go to is opened up. So this is just a good thing I like to bring for lunches. My kids don't really like to eat sandwiches, but they like the meat. So I will just go ahead and pack this in their lunches with some fruit and like some crackers or something. And that will be what they have. So this is their uncured Black Forest ham. And I want to say this was around $9, $8, $9, something like that. But they really like to eat that. So that's not something we buy too much of. But in the summertime, it is convenient to have this on hand for like quick on the go lunches. We bought a bag of their organic sweet potatoes. This is partially for our dog who's on the raw diet and also for myself and my husband. I will just I'll peel these, chop them up into little discs, and then rub coconut oil on both sides with some Redmond's real salt, and then just bake that in the oven at probably 425 for 20 to 25 minutes. And that is a really delicious way to make sweet potatoes. And for my dog, I'll just bake them in the oven and peel the skin off and then give that to him whenever his stomach gets upset. And then also we bought a bag of their avocados. I don't remember what the price was on this, but this is my first time actually buying them at Sam's Club versus Aldi. And I will say the size is a lot bigger than the ones that we normally buy at Aldi. Which is good just because I feel like I had to eat 2 or 3 avocados to equal the equivalent of a regular sized one. These are new to us. So with our boys going to summer camp, we wanted to get them something like a special treat to put in their lunches to help entice them to eat while they're there. So we found these pepperoni pizza crisps. The ingredients, honestly, they're not the best, but they're also not the worst. We were just kind of going through their chip aisle and looking at everything, but it's mozzarella, uncured pepperoni, and then with the pepperoni, it's natural spices, sugar, lactic acid, starter culture, natural flavoring, and then just goes into their seasoning stuff. So it's not the best, but there was also a lot more worse options we could have picked. So we'll see how those go. If my kids don't like it, my husband was really excited about those, so I'm sure he will be eating that. We did buy a box of Pirates Booty. This again is just for like fun summer snacks, something I can put in their lunches, because they're going to be at camp from 9 to 4:30. When they were going to preschool, that was only 9 to 1. So this is like their longest they're going to be away from home. And our camp also did ask that you bring a box of snacks for them. This is not what we're bringing, but my youngest son, Evan, because he's not old enough to go to camp yet, was kind of feeling left out and a little jealous. So I got this for everyone. So that helps smooth things over. If you know, you know. He's 2, so he's just, you know, when he wants something, he wants something. And when he sees big brothers getting it and he's not getting it, sometimes that, you know, can cause a scene. But over here, we have their grass-fed, grass-finished, boneless beef top sirloin steak. So these came in a 4-pack. The ribeyes would only come in a 2-pack. So we went ahead and bought 2 packages of these. And each one of these, this was $13.94 and this was $13.46. So that I thought was a great price for grass-fed and grass-finished. We're probably going to throw one in the freezer, keep one in the fridge. My boys do like steak, but they probably will only eat like 1 fillet between the 3 of them. Just they get filled up pretty easily when it comes to protein. And normally when I do steak, I'll either do like mashed potatoes, veggies, or bone broth, rice, something like that. We'll have some bread on the side. So they have a lot of other options to be eating when they have this. But this was, I know I've seen these before, but I just never realized that it was a 4-pack and not a 2-pack. So depending on how we like these, we might start buying this cut versus the ribeye from now on. So this was everything that we bought at Sam's Club, and Sam's Club was $178. We did have almost $25 in Sam's cash to use. So I think it only cost us around $150 for everything that you see here, which for the amount of protein that we got, I do think we did a really good job. We already have eggs. We already have some sourdough still left from last week. We already have some bagels. We're probably just going to need to go to a different store to get some flour so we can make more like baked goods. But other than that, that should like really set us up for at least 1 to 2 weeks worth of protein for everything. And just like the potatoes, we're not going to go through right away. The ham will take us at least a week. The avocados will probably last a week, week and a half. So we're definitely set for at least the foreseeable future with that. And then moving over here, this was what we bought at Aldi. So just imagine a line on the table from here over. This is Aldi. So we did buy 2 gallons of their whole milk. One of these is going to be for when we make waffles and pancakes and all this stuff. And the other one, I'm going to be posting a video later, but I'm also going to be making some homemade yogurt. I normally, in the past, I've done raw yogurt, but my boys, it was just easier for me this time. I couldn't make it to our produce stand to get the raw milk. So I just went ahead and bought another gallon of the whole milk. And basically I just do that in the Instant Pot, but I'll make a video on how I do that, or a reel or short, something along those lines, so you can see how I do it. But it's much more cost effective making your own yogurt than buying it at the store. So stay tuned for that. So these are the 3 snacks that my kids picked out for their camp. This one, Adam picked out their chewy mini chocolate chip cookies. This one, Liam picked out, my oldest, it's their birthday cake animal crackers. And then this one was what Evan, my youngest, again, he's not going to camp, but he just wanted something to literally just so he could carry it in the store because the other 2 were carrying their boxes. So he got these alphabet mini cookies. That should be plenty. My understanding is that they just are going to have them as like snacks in the classroom, and it's just going to be my kids eating these. So we should still have leftovers because they're only going to be gone for 5 days. But we'll see. That's my understanding. I could be mistaken, but that's, I think, why they're asking for everyone to bring that in. And I'll go ahead and label their boxes too, so when they get dropped off at camp, they know whose is whose. So then also with lunches, we have 2 containers or packages of their summer sausage. I'm only anticipating on going through one of these for this week, but the other one I wanted to have just in case. That again will just be protein for their lunches, kind of like the same in the school year. The only difference is I'm not able to pack their lunch in lunch boxes It has to be in like sandwich bags and a Ziploc, like a big freezer bag, so they can fit everything in the cooler, is my understanding of it. So yeah, so that's why I bought the summer sausage, because that'll be easy to kind of like pack up. We have 2 packages of their organic uncured beef hot dogs. You've seen these before in my grocery hauls. My kids love them, and the reason why we normally are buying like 4, but we've kind of slowed down on eating our hot dogs just because we do have a lot more options. Now that my kids are home with me during the summer, I'm able to like cook more ground beef and chicken and all that stuff with them. But this, like, because we're a family of 5, so we literally will go through at least 1 package when we have them, if not more. Like, sometimes my husband wants 2 hot dogs. Sometimes my kids want 2 hot dogs. So sometimes we're going through like a package and a half just in one sitting for the hot dogs. These I think are $4.50 too, so it's really not a bad price for what you're getting, because those are very clean hot dogs. We have 1 package of their pepperoni. This will be the protein that my oldest son wants in his lunch, and again, just easy packing. We have some hot dog buns to go with the hot dogs. I think we still have a couple more of the brioche buns I bought last week, but my kids and my husband even said they liked the taste of it and everything, but they preferred these just like regular hot dogs. The buns, I'm not sure if it's just like a new thing and it takes a little getting used to, but that was fine. They're cheaper anyways. I bought a package of their kiwi. This is mainly just for me to eat. Kiwi is like a really good fruit to have, so I try and eat at least 1 to 2 of these a day. Sometimes my kids want them, other times they don't. My husband likes kiwi. He just kind of forgets that we have them. So it's mainly just me eating those. And then last but not least, we have their uncured bacon, which has no sugar, no nitrates, all that stuff. This is, I think, $5. They did have 1 package that was literally like brown with the bacon, so I was like, oh no, put that back, grab one that had a little bit better coloring to it. But yeah, so this is everything that we got at Aldi, and this was one second, let me look. This was $46.22 for everything that you see here. Normally we would not be buying this many snacks, but just because it is a summer camp week and we had to bring some, that's just kind of the way it played out. I normally like to just do more of their like the rice, the sugar, just like pantry staples when I go to Aldi. I am realizing that I forgot to buy some coconut water there. I need that for my electrolyte drink, so we're probably gonna have to go back and get that. But that'll be probably like another $6 added in. But yeah, so this is everything that we bought from Aldi and from Sam's Club for this week for my family's groceries. I want to say thank you so much for watching until the end. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, if you want to know pricing. I try to respond as quickly as I can when I see stuff like that. Also, let me know if you like this video in the comments below. It just helps me know what kind of content to put out and what you guys want to see. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.